Tanner, I think it's safe to say that me and you could use some boy advice.
That is definitely safe to say.
I haven't felt like I've been very on my game lately. No boys have been flirting with me.
Same. I asked today on multiple platforms who was going to take me to the Orville Peck concert. I'm wearing a gay cowboy shirt.
And no takers.
No takers.
So clearly we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to introduce Tanner to Girl Defined, because I have gone down the rabbit hole with Girl Defined, but Tanner is still pretty unfamiliar with them, and I thought, well, let's combine two things at once. You getting to know what Girl Defined is so we can chat about it more and so you can understand my references, and we get boy advice. Win-win, right?
I can't wait to be educated.
And I think this is going to be good because we're going to get some advice about, dealing with our guy crushes, some boy advice through the lens of, like, what does God want for us?
Yeah.
Which is like, I want my advice straight from the top, I don't want some, like, dating coach's advice when I could have God's advice. Keep God in the bedroom. So today we're going to be reading, we might end up reading a few different articles depending on, like, how jam-packed with advice they are. From the Girl Defined blog, this first article that I've pulled up is by Bethany. And the article is called Trusting God with Your Guy Crush. So let's just see what we learn.
All right.
I think this is going to be nice.
God, my very first guy crush.
The ultimate guy crush.
But it is always striking to me how gay Christians are for Jesus.
Okay, Bethany. I remember having my first ever crush on a guy. His name, Boy in Jean Schultz.
That is a weird name. Is that Dutch or? I remember my first crush, man in birthday suit.
Okay, that wasn't his real name. I don't actually know what his real name was. I just remember seeing him from a distance and falling in love.
Falling in love, even.
It didn't matter that I was just a kid at the time. My heart was swooning for this boy and always wore denim shorts. We never talked. We never even looked at each other. I just crushed on him contentedly from afar. The years passed by and I soon became a teenager.
This is a win for jorts wearers everywhere.
Moral of the story, jorts.
Jorts.
I was still somewhat content to crush on guys from a distance. A smile or a look in my direction was enough to satisfy me for a few weeks at least. Jealous.
Yeah. She has regulated her nervous system to
To
need
a
very
T.
little.
Very impressive for a teenager. It would give me and my girlfriend something to talk
Girlfriend.
for a minute.
What? She just means a friend that's a girl.
Yeah,
I know, but it's just...
Then I hit my single years, parentheses, life past my 18th birthday. I was no longer content crushing from afar. I wanted a relationship. I wanted my crush to notice me, to pursue me, to get to know me, and to maybe even marry me. See, that's where I think we maybe differ from Girl Defined. Someone wanting to marry me would be kind of like a downer. I didn't want a glance or a smile. I wanted a date. I wanted a relationship.
I wanted to be tied up style and fucked rowdily in the
The quick glance to being rowdily in the pipeline.
Is rowdily even an adverb?
It made sense. The day came when I found myself crushing on Dove. I think it's Dove, or is it Dave? My now husband. Hardcore.
Whoa.
I liked this guy.
Was he the first guy she ever went out with?
Yeah, and she's now married to him.
Okay.
And they have one child, maybe two. He was fun, funny, kind, engaging, a great conversationalist, cute and interesting. I liked being his friend, but after a while, I wasn't content just being friends. I really like the suspenseful story vibe of this. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Even though I know she's gonna marry him.
Is she gonna ask him to be her accountant? How's the relationship gonna develop?
The next bit in all bold, I wanted to go out. I wanted him to pursue me. I wanted a relationship.
What? You're so quirky.
You wanted a relationship before you'd even gone out? Oh, yeah. Have you ever been there?
Not me.
Have you ever had a crush on a guy that you so desperately wanted to move past the crush phase and transform into a relationship?
I could name 10 on Twitter right now off the top of my head.
Have you ever had a crush on a guy, but you weren't even sure if he knew you existed?
Again, 10 off the top of my head.
Crushes are simple and totally complicated at the same time.
It's so true.
So true. Bethany gets it. On the one hand, it should be easy to deal with. If he asks you on a date, he likes you back. If he doesn't, move on and consider the other options. But it doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way.
The heart is so much more complicated.
You keep
than that.
yearning, you keep refollowing them, you look back to your Tinder message and you're like, where did I go wrong?
It's not as easy as telling yourself to move on if a guy doesn't seem to show interest back. You can't force feelings to go away with the snap of a finger. Mm-mm. If you find yourself in a situation, oh, Tanner, this is perfect for you, where you're really admiring, liking, dreaming, and hoping for a relationship with a certain guy, I have a few suggestions for you.
I can't wait. I'm so ready.
Maybe like get someone in your head. You don't have to tell us anything about them, but just like...
Are we manifesting?
Yeah.
Is it wrong to manifest over a specific person without their consent?
I'm going to ask you 4 questions that you can think about to just kind of help you out with this crush, right? Because it's hard when you feel like, you know, you like a guy, he doesn't like you back, you're not really sure where you stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just like, hey, nice abs, want a kiss?
Right. Number 1, why are you crushing on this guy? Seriously, ask yourself what you find so attractive about this particular guy. Is it his character?
Couldn't be.
Do you have a friendship with and know him on a somewhat personal level?
Not at all.
Is it strictly his looks? Yes. What's making your heart swoon and your heart beat faster?
Feel it really deep within my loins. And I just know.
If you don't really know the guy, maybe you should make the effort to be his friend. Introduce yourself, ask some questions, get to know what he's interested in and how he spends his time. The more you get to know him, the more you'll be able to make an informed decision as to whether or not you should continue hoping for a relationship with him. If your crush is based on his looks alone, though, I would strongly recommend taking your thoughts captive and not allowing yourself to fantasize about this guy.
Do not. Yep.
I hate when you do smacking your head jokes. It just makes me cringe when people smack their heads for some
reason. That's why I do it.
I hate it.
It's so obnoxious.
Okay, so let's hope there's a little bit of character in there for you, because if it's just looks, you're going to unfortunately have to stop fantasizing about him.
Oh. Well, what am I supposed to fantasize about?
You can assure me that, like, this isn't just a looks-based crush, right? Like, you also care about his character.
Totally.
Okay, well, question 2. Are you fantasizing about him?
I mean, define fantasize.
It can be so easy to take our initial attraction and interest in a guy to
masturbate to it for hours and hours and hours, and your mom comes and bangs on the door and says, what are you doing in there? And I say, Mom, leave me alone. I'm watching TV!
If we're not careful, attraction can easily turn into hours of dreaming about a future with
I thought
this
you were
guy.
going to say masturbating. She is. She's like, you're doing laundry, you lean against the laundry machine, you lean a little too long, it's vigorous.
You dream a little too hard. The dreaming can quickly turn into sexual fantasy, and before we know it, we're on the honeymoon. Even in your fantasy, you're on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
The only problem, it's all in the mind.
I wish I had thought about that before I began fantasizing.
I know. If you're in this place, I encourage you to repent and ask God to create in you a pure heart.
Oh my God,
that is good
this
advice.
a sin to fantasize?
Yeah, because you're not on the honeymoon. Come up with a strategy to get your mind focused on something more God-honoring. Meditate on Psalm 51:10. Read a solid Christian book, (Love Defined), which I think is their book.
Oh God.
Start a prayer journal. Find ways to occupy your mind and redirect your thoughts towards something more Christ-centered and pure. Well, honestly, what is more Christ-centered than Christ? So I think the advice here is you need to be fantasizing about Christ.
That's literally what I'm talking
right? You're
about.
on your honeymoon with Christ.
Christians are so horny for Jesus. Mm-hmm. It's like taking all the sexual tension and energy that they have that they're not being fulfilled and that they're not being able to direct to, other people. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Jesus, he will fulfill all my divine fantasies. He will make me feel
worth it and
so good if I just get down on my knees before him.
Check out our Christian song linked in the description box. Okay, this is good so far. Some solid advice.
Totally.
Third piece of advice. Trust God with your crush. Maybe you've done all the things. You've gotten to know him. You even have a friendship with him. You know for a fact that he's an amazing godly guy. He seems awesome in every way, minus the fact that he hasn't asked you out. That's the hardest place to be, when you really like a godly guy, but you're not sure if he has any interest. My advice, be patient and trust God. Don't manipulate the situation. Don't spam his IG with dozens of messages. Ooh, that's actually a good pointer, because otherwise I think that's a trap we could have fallen into. Trust that God wants what's better for you than you even want for yourself. Ooh, I bet whoever you're thinking of, that crush, God has someone with way better abs in mind.
I will be surprised to see it, but God surprised me before.
Here's how you can make sure this happens. Focus on serving God. When you focus on serving God, it helps keep your mind on eternal things. It keeps you living and thriving. It keeps you doing what you're made to do. Using your life to serve God is one of the best solutions to dealing with or getting over a crush. Don't believe me? Try it for yourself.
Ask the Catholic Church.
Remember that having a crush isn't a good or bad thing in and of itself. That's a good point. The attraction is a good and normal part of God's design for us. It matters what you do with that crush. Don't allow your feelings to lead you. Choose to lead your feelings. Choose to direct your thoughts. Choose to honor God in this area of your life. So what did you get from that? Like, what did we learn?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. It's like, oh, you're having a crush? Wow, this is the biggest deal. You can't believe it. It's a sin. You should repent. But, like, don't think about it too bad. It's actually not a sin. You're fine. Just serve God, whatever that means. What does that mean? What is she talking about? What does it mean to serve God in your life? Reading the Bible? Is that serving God? Is that going to do it?
Yeah,
Is that how you get over your crush?
Mm-hmm. I think you just,
Didn't work for me in high school.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit nervous because I saw another blog post. This one's by Kristen, who's the other one. And it's called Why Sending Nude Photos Isn't God's Best for Single Women.
It's just one of his better options, but not the best.
It's not the
gold
best.
tier
is full video content.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do, she said to me with a discouraged look on her face. One of my friends is sending nude pictures to her boyfriend, and I feel like I should say something to her. I don't think it's a good idea, but I'm just not sure what to say. This is a real conversation I had with a teen girl after a Girl-Defined event. She was totally discouraged about her friend's sexting habits. Oh, Tana, I am so discouraged about one of my friend's sexting habits. It's just so, such a personal attack on me.
Totally.
And it's, having such a big impact on my life and my ability to live, according to my own free will and choice.
I wish they would have more concern for your feelings.
That's the thing. I just feel like they don't even give a shit. They're texting their boyfriend with no concern for me, which, I don't know.
Let alone
is that friendship?
God.
Right, I know. As much as I'd like to hide under a bushel and believe that sexting and nude photo sharing are rare, it's not.
I want to see statistics on that. Oh, we're getting
Well, we're getting one. One statistic revealed that close to 40% of teens engage in sending or receiving sexually explicit messages. Oh my God, I can't believe that, adolescent mammals entering their sexual prime, 40% of them are being sexually explicit? What
That's
the hell?
Minority, isn't
That's
it?
insane. Should be at least 90. Why are their libidos so low? It's a hormone thing from the food system, I swear to God. And with cell phones becoming more and more common at younger ages, that number is only going to rise. Sadly, much of pop culture is encouraging sexting as a normal part of single life now. Yeah, God does not endorse Bo Burnham's special.
Nope.
With the boom of erotic content in mainstream media, sending personal erotic messages is becoming the new norm.
It's better to just bottle them up. Write them in your little prayer journal. Send your nudes directly to God. That's what I do.
4 lies society is teaching you about sexting. 1, everybody is doing it.
That's, it's only 40%, I guess.
Yeah. I actually haven't heard that everyone is sexting. There's no harm in sexting. I have heard that one. I have believed that one. In my wickedness,
I
I
actually
did believe
send that
one.
when I text people. I'm like, just so you know,
This
there's
is
no harm in
harmless.
this.
I swear to God. Sexting is healthy in dating relationships.
Can be, sure.
I don't have a joke for it, I'm just annoyed. Erotica is the foundation for a good romance.
I don't think anyone
Yeah,
is basing
I'm
their
always
romance
hearing
on
erotica.
erotica. Nobody consumes erotica.
So erotica is such a wholesome word
That's
to
what I
me.
mean.
It's like a little bath time reading of a woman in a castle in the 1700s, and a man looks her way and he's wearing jean shorts and she doesn't even know his name and she just thinks about it for weeks. There is a lot of harm in sexting. The minute you click the send button, that text or image is in the hands of someone else who can do whatever they want with it. I mean, that is
NSA
true.
agent.
Practice responsible sexting for
For
sure.
sure. And teens, honestly, if you're watching this, be careful with that because that can constitute
Yeah.
child pornography. So
Yeah,
beware.
there's but this feels more
just straight up shaming.
this feels like weird victim blaming for people who are victims of revenge porn, because it says they can show it to whomever they want and even post it online without even realizing it. You could be putting yourself in the hands of an online sexual predator, not to mention the potential blackmail that could haunt you forever. It just feels like in the context of this article, it's more like, well, if someone distributes your photo, it's your fault. And it's like, well, that's a crime and also is morally wrong. And different logic.
More like just be careful, okay?
Sexting and erotica are not healthy in dating relationships because it creates a hyper-focus on sex. Battery's flashing. And my laptop's about to die.
My battery is flashing. This is perfect. I'm about to die.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
Well, thanks for joining us. If you want us to read more girl-defined content, I mean, I'm always down to get more boy advice and more sex and relationship advice generally.
Yeah, and God advice. He's been kind of quiet lately, so it's good to hear his voice through a woman who wants me to date boys.
Through a woman.
Said with so much
Most
contempt.
unlikely of places. Okay, well, bye.
Bye.